N7 Radio. Broadcasting now.
Hello, Mass Effect Nation. This is episode 3 of N7 Radio, the premier Mass Effect Andromeda podcast. I'm Raizer. You may know of me.
This is a premiere? Is there popcorn?
Yes, there's always popcorn. Popcorn is everywhere you go here. But if you recall, our last episode was about science and how we got to the Andromeda Galaxy, using science and other non-scientific things like space magic or other stuff. This episode is about PAX, a little bit about PAX, since obviously there wasn't much information, if any, about Mass Effect Andromeda at PAX. If you recall, BioWare did say transmissions will resume at the end of the year, and PAX wasn't at the end of the year, so... But there was a short chance that we'd get something. But there wasn't. Boo-hoo times. In this podcast, we're going to talk a little bit about PAX, and we're going to talk about gameplay elements that we'd like to see in Mass Effect Andromeda.
But if this is your first time listening to us, and you'd like to start from the beginning and go chronological, you can also listen to our first episode, which analyzes the first trailer for Mass Effect Andromeda.
Or you can listen to our second episode, which didn't do any of those things, because it was about science.
Science!
But science is awesome!
I'm sure our listeners are quite familiar with us, but for our new listeners, I'm Raizer. You may have seen me around YouTubes or Twitters before. I cover Mass Effect Andromeda information and other random assorted things. You can follow me on the links provided below, and as always, there is BioFan.
Oh, that's my turn? Oh, okay.
No, I think it's Chachi's turn.
I don't... You know what?
Do it. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Shia LaBeouf! Okay, here we go.
Do it.
Hi everyone. I am BioFan, and I am also a YouTuber, and I do news coverage and other things for BioWare games like Dragon Age and Mass Effect. And you can find me on, obviously, YouTube, and cause otherwise, why would you be here? And then also, you can find me on Twitter and Tumblr, and I'm everywhere. You look, I'm probably there.
He was in my closet last night. True story.
I'm gonna check my closet now every day.
I'm totally recording in your closet right now. I'm doing it Harry Potter style.
And I, of course, am Chachi Bobinks. You may know me from a video you watched, like, probably yesterday, where I screamed my head off for a very long time because I screw up Dragon Age. I'm also a podcast producer, a member of the Dialogue Wheel, and an all-around kind of pleasant person sometimes. You can find me on Twitter, Podbean, YouTube, BSN, like Facebook, a Goodreads feed, and the membership area for my local supermarket because I like coupons.
I was wondering how long you were going to go with this.
And OkCupid.com,
She's everywhere.
baby. Yeah.
Whoa, okay.
When Kay isn't here, everything just goes straight down the toilet.
Kay keeps us together.
Kay keeps us
Flu.
behaving.
Speaking of Kay, the post-PAX flu has taken its toll on the
No.
N7 Radio podcast. So she's still sick.
She's still sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's still sick.
Make sure you send her lots of love and chocolate, and send us chocolate too, and hopefully
Maybe
she'll
fruit
get better.
basket. I hear people like fruit baskets.
I prefer
Maybe.
chocolate baskets.
You know, go with them.
I prefer money baskets personally, but your mileage may vary.
Lead me to this money basket. Unfortunately, we didn't get a basket of information about Mass Effect Andromeda from PAX, but that was to be expected. As we mentioned in our previous podcast, we did have a couple members go to PAX, Chachi and Girltriesgames. Unfortunately, Chachi has more of an immunity to PAX flu than Girltriesgames, but Kay will recover, just give her some time, and chocolate as mentioned. Now, talking about PAX, Chachi, how was your overall experience? Did you find any nugs? Did you
You were
do
there.
anything
Tell us what down on the scene.
Well,
On the
honestly,
float.
PAX Prime was just kind of Dragon Age Palooza because it just so happened that the biggest thing in Dragon Age news happened right there on the spot, which I don't think very many of us expected. People
And
knew
I
that
am
there was-
still not fully recovered from.
I know, right? Yeah, goodness gracious. Everyone knew that there was a reason to go to this panel and that it was a big deal, but no one really knew what that big deal was, and that was, of course, the announcement and shortly thereafter release of the very last piece of the Dragon Age Inquisition story, which is pretty cool. So that kind of ruled everything. Didn't make a lot of room for Mass Effect, unfortunately. They also didn't bring any of their Mass Effect people along with them, so which was interesting.
So there was literally none.
Yeah, literally nothing, unless there is somebody who is working on both and just hasn't announced it yet. Because, they tend to kind of divide it up a little bit, huh?
Well, they did say that a lot of the Dragon Age team moved over to Andromeda. I think that was the only Andromeda thing they actually said at, any of the panels. That was that was on one thing.
It's like they're going there, and then they're going to this super secret new IP that nobody knows anything about ever. And that's it.
They'll probably talk about that after Andromeda comes out, I'm sure. Super secrets.
However, I got to talk to someone who is not there for BioWare, but does work at BioWare, and I got to at least hear some really neat things, Mass Effect-wise, that I hadn't heard before. It's probably old news to all of you who have been longtime Mass Effect fans, but, for example, I was super giddy to find out the origin of the Reaper sound. Extremely excited. I could not stop thinking about it.
That thing in the beginning of all of our episodes is really awesome.
Yes. Yes. Do you guys know the origin of the Reaper sound?
Yes, but I bet you there are people listening to this that don't.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lay it on us.
I know there's a more technical term for this, but I'm just gonna call it what we call it here. It's the sound of like a dumpster or whatever. Specifically up there, I think it's something like the bin that you put paper in specifically. And so it's the sound of it opening and closing, like the rusty
the rah.
Yeah, the rah. And so when they said that, all I could think of was my dumpster. When I open up my dumpster, it goes rah the whole way open, right? Because of that, the metal on metal, and it's all really old and stuff. So that's what I'm going to surmise. It is a dumpster, even though there's some fancier, smancier,
digitally
term for
nifty,
it.
shiny enough. Things.
Yeah. They were like, it's like a paper disposal mechanism or something. I'm like, basically a dumpster, right? Okay, thank you.
It's like the least intimidating thing to create that noise.
Literally, what you throw trash into is a Reaper.
What is that horrible, scary noise? Well, it's a dumpster.
It's a dumpster.
I'm no longer scared.
In the future, trash disposal containers will rise above. They will rise up to try and take over the world, the galaxy.
Why do we have to give the dumpsters AI abilities? Is it that important to let it automatically open and close?
I just want to know how many people will, after listening to this, develop a phobia of taking out the trash. They'll open and be like, "Oh, the Reapers are coming!" and take off running.
Running away from the dumpster in the middle of the night.
Give my trash can the side eye of I know what's up.
Yeah.
Little did mankind know that their fall would be dumpsters. They threw out the trash, but the entire time they were the trash.
Well, if you make 3 out of 4 choices, then they don't kill humanity. Supposedly. But that whole indoctrination theory. That's in the box. That's in our lovely little box that
which
pops
we
up
put
in
in
every
the dumpster. We went from packs all the way to dumpsters. This is now the Dumpster Podcast.
The Dumpster Podcast.
First episode was about feet. Second was dogs or something, right?
Dogs doing inappropriate things, yes.
Yeah. And now we've really gone into the trash.
Now we're into the garbage.
Okay, we miss you. Please come back and save us.
I know. I don't know.
I'm gonna take the fishing pole and reel us back in to Pat. We were talking about you mentioned a lot of the Andromeda developers weren't there, and my first thought was that they're busy, making Mass Effect Andromeda now. It's cram time, and then I thought, this is the last piece of story-wise DLC for Inquisition. They probably might put out some multiplayer stuff every now and then, but
yeah, they're supporting it till December, so probably the Mass Effect team is full steam ahead, the hype train is fully fueled, it's going.
It's BioWare's main focus, so I I don't think they're going to show anything major Dragon Age next. Next thing they should talk about would, essentially have to be Mass Effect. So that just... you just keep watching for what BioWare is going to talk about, and I doubt it's going to be the next Dragon Age. It might be now. We might be getting more talk from BioWare about Mass Effect, more hints, more tweets, more whatever, because Dragon Age is kind of being pushed not aside, but off the priority list from 1 to 2 or 3, you know, because they have their new IP out there as well. So with all this going on and Andromeda being the next game to come out on the list for BioWare, we should be getting excited to actually start getting some real stuff here.
Yeah.
So, in terms of real stuff, though we don't have much, but we can go into the hypotheticals and stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, Mass Effect 3 had some pretty awesome combat, well, I thought so anyway. But,
oh yeah.
How would you want to see sort of combat evolve in Andromeda?
I know. I have feels.
Go, Chachi! Do it!
Go! Go.
More hand-to-hand combat. One thing that I did, and I think I just did it on 2 and 3, because I think on 1 it wasn't quite possible. But anytime...
it was just like a elbow bump in 1.
Yeah, it's like an elbow bump, yeah.
And the camera goes to like the weirdest angle, and you're like, I don't even... What's happening? What's going on here?
You had to sprint to do it too, so you'd be like a foot in front of someone, and I'm gonna sprint towards you!
Yeah, it was completely impractical. And like in 2 and 3, you could literally beat the shit out of somebody with your gun. And that was so much fun to me. Like
I loved it.
Everything but the fight with fists.
You can punch a Reaper.
Yeah, that shit. Yeah, like I don't
think you actually can. But
punching collectors was a lot more fun. Like just beating
they're
the snot
big
out
heads.
of collectors. Like you're stupid.
Very large.
No. Better than that. Beating the snot with your arm out of Kai Lang was probably the most satisfying thing ever.
Yeah,
that was a fun thing. Omniblade him. That was
ending you
pretty
Omniblade
satisfying.
in the end. That's right.
Omniblade. But the punches are just so much more satisfying.
Right? As somebody who doesn't like shooters at all, and I have trouble aiming, especially the things that require a little bit more precision, right? But I don't necessarily want to go on the easiest combat setting to make it possible. So I appreciated finding a way around it, because I can run up to something and it didn't require a lot of aiming, so I could just run up to something and beat it, whereas if I had my pistol, I was missing most of the time.
So would you think that it would be better if there was like a class specifically tailored towards hand-to-hand kind of?
Like a fucking space ninja. That's right. That's right.
Was it the Vanguard? I think it was the Vanguard.
It was kind of like a biotic ninja.
It was like a close quarters biotic.
I didn't like using biotics either. I wanted somebody who was just like straight up Street Fighter. That's what I wanted.
Like Kasumi kind of?
Damn straight. Yes, like Kasumi, because Kasumi's pretty kick-ass. But no biotics, no special stuff. I just want to run up and punch stuff.
I brought Kasumi with me all the time because like you could just be like, Kasumi, go kill that guy.
Oh yeah, her special would be to phase over there and then insta-kill and phase back.
The Shadow Strike of Doom.
Yes.
Right. That kind of fun stuff.
That's kind of actually similar to how I played. I loved Infiltrator because I loved a couple things. One thing I loved was going invisible, running into the middle of the battlefield, and sniping someone, taking the time to aim right at their head because no one can see me, and then boom, and running back. And another thing I loved was stealthing around behind, and then omniblading and running and sprinting, having them freaked out because, you know, I'm behind their lines now, and they're like, oh shit, the wall isn't protecting us, and then just stabby. And with the jetpack...
What was that? Stab? What?
Stabby.
Now I could jetpack over the wall and omniblade them into the head.
That could be something cool, since we definitely got some sort of super jump thing.
Boost.
A boost jump. Something.
And I mean, they plan to use the Omniblade and the boost because they showed both, so I'm hoping they have some cool combinations involved. Maybe Omniblade to a second story, stab a guy, throw him down to the first story.
Well, the unknown person that was the main focus of the trailer does a jumpy, pull out the Omnibladey thing.
That's what I was mentioning. Yeah. That's why hopefully they do something with that, because if they just show it to us and tease me, I'll be really upset. Pretend to jetpack.
Well, you have to remember, BioWare. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure every video game does this, but trailer magic, where they make certain things look a certain way, and then it doesn't end up that way, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. It's trying to get you hyped up and get you excited. Buy our snake oil.
My favorite combat thing in all of Mass Effect, like my favorite thing to ever do, was like the abilities and stuff. I was a badass biotic, and I loved to like use my adept powers and stuff. Like in Mass Effect 2, like the shockwave thing was cool because it could always kill all the husks.
Oh, I love the shockwave.
But then in Mass Effect 3, it's not that cool, and it's like, But the coolest thing the coolest ability ever was that one, like, biotic bomb sort of, I think it was flare, that you get from Arya. And you just throw it, and then it just explodes, and then, like, everyone dies.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It is
That was
the
dark.
best. Like, one of my favorite moments in Mass Effect was all of the Omega DLC, because it was me doing the flare, and it was Arya doing the flare, and it was like, let's do a double flare, and it was like, boom, boom! And, like,
please.
Cerberus just, like, was, like, dropping flies.
How did Cerberus survive at all? Because, like, every other side mission was kill Cerberus, do this, take away their this, take away their research, take away this, and I'm like, how are they still around? I've killed so many of them.
Well, I think by the time we get to their base, I think that's the last of them.
Hopefully, I don't want to see any more Cerberus. If I see a Cerberus logo in Andromeda, I'm just leaving Andromeda and going back to Milky Way.
You're like, nope!
Like, no, God, bye.
Screw you guys, I'm going. I'm going back to Apocalypse Milky Way. I'd rather have that. Bring back the Reapers. If it takes the Reapers coming back and destroying everything for Cerberus to finally be gone. But then you know what, the next cycle will come and then a Cerberus operative will crawl from the ground.
Well, you know, we kind of ended the cycle. So.
Yeah, I know, I was just talking
Well,
hypothetically.
But, like, I would really like to see a lot of abilities and maybe make them a little more, I don't know, like, less clunky, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
More fluid, yeah.
More
I
fluid,
understand.
yeah, like, maybe, like, I don't know, I kind of liked how you had this little menu thing, and you just kind of went and selected and stuff. That was cool. I was pretty satisfied. It'd be hard. I don't know, like, I was so happy with Mass Effect 3, how, like, fluid all the, like, shooting and stuff. I hate shooters, but I love Mass Effect for some reason. But, like, I just loved how fluid it kind of was. Like, the movements were really easy and everything. I just loved it. So I'm sure, like, if they kind of take that and then just improve, Andromeda will be pretty good regardless.
Yeah.
But if
I
they
like-
bring back the flare, I will be golden. I will buy like 5 copies. Do it, BioWare. Do it.
Do it, and Morden the baby Krogan. Do that, and I'll
If
buy your
Morden the
game
Baby
5
Krogan
times.
right?
and Biotic Flare in there, I will buy 10 copies, BioWare. I am not joking.
That'd be amazing.
I will pre-order 10 copies.
Maybe Morden the baby
Wow.
Krogan could do the flares.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. I need that in life, like right now, basically.
Don't we all, man? Ugh.
Yeah. Real.
We're gonna
Yeah, that's-
mention Morden the Baby Krogan in every podcast, I think.
Every
think we
single
are.
podcast.
Until they directly tell us no.
Somebody at
Yeah.
BioWare is gonna intercept and be like, "Look, guys, drop the thing about the Krogan. Too much. Too much."
You're driving up expectations. We can't do it. Stop.
Yeah, they're like, stop telling us about this. We've gotten requests for baby Krogan plush doll. He doesn't even exist.
other than a baby Krogan Morden, whatever. Well, I guess technically wouldn't be a baby anymore. But other than a Krogan Morden awesomeness thing, if you could like pick any sort of like race, classy sort of like what would be your ideal squad mate?
Squad goals? Are we talking squad goals now?
Yeah, we're talking squad goals here. Yeah.
Squad goals. I totally love that.
Yeah, you know, I recently watched Guardians of the Galaxy, and one character I love is Groot, because he's quiet, but he has almost more character to him than some of the characters that
That
speak
one word
nonstop.
says so much.
We are Groot.
Sorry,
It does,
one
though. It's
sentence.
his facial expressions, too. He's like my cat. I just want to give him a hug and then give him treats.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Get a splinter, and yeah, but... But I'd like to see a character, not quite like Groot, not Plant, but I'm talking about the quiet character, the one that, when he speaks with purpose.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. Just the mysterious character that you learn more about as you play the game, and it turns out this character's dad was an alcoholic. And
So you want
Was-
a Solus in space?
Pretty much.
Well, Solus spoke. He spoke more than, I don't know. Kind of like a
You
cross
want
between
a
Solus
quiet
and
Solus
Silent
in
Bob.
space?
Kind of, yes. A quieter Solus. Nothing against Solus. I actually quite like Solus. I like the Gandalf type character. You know, that's another character I like to see is a Gandalf type character, a character that is like your mentor and the one you go to with all your problems, and is like, this too shall pass. Just sit down, and chill out, and
Our kind
look
of
at the
guide.
stars,
Yeah.
and look at me do space magic. Here's a dragon.
So, Chachi, other than Caden's clone brought all the way to Andromeda, which we
That
all
was my
really want.
answer. I don't know what to do.
That's why I said that. So you can't use it. You have to come up with something more original because that's what everyone wants. Everyone.
I want to bring over a magical girl. That's right. Magical girls in space.
Magical girl space.
So
magic.
you want a biotic female character?
Specifically, a biotic magical girl. Could you imagine like Sailor Moon in there? Oh my god. Oh.
So you want a
my God.
biotic female in a uniform?
Pretty much.
So you want to pull a J-pop star? and
Pretty
be
much, I
honest.
do. I want to pull some J-pop in, and then every time she walks into your room, like some funky beat starts playing, and people are
Oh,
like,
no.
"What is going on?"
Mine, if I could pick, I kind of think in terms of squad mates. I don't think in squad because in squad mates we never had that kind of like sarcastic, takes the piss out of everything kind of Joker person, because Joker kind of was that person.
Yeah.
So I'd like kind of like a squad mate, sort of. Okay, think of Sarah, but like educated.
Like Dorian almost.
Yeah, like Dorian, kind of like Dorian, but a little more like lighthearted.
Yeah. Not so dark.
Not so like life problemy.
Yeah.
Even though Dorian's awesome, I like Dorian. He's alright. He's cool. I would just
yeah.
like that's kind of one thing. Like someone kind of think of oh I got it.
Okay.
Varric Tetris in space.
Oh, Varric.
Yeah.
That would be perfect.
That
Space
would be
Tetris.
perfect. Space Tetris.
It sounds like a
Space
different game.
Space Tetris.
I want Tetris and Mass Effect Andromeda, please.
Can we not though?
That would be amazing though, because just to have that character come around just for the lighthearted aspect of things, because sometimes Bioware games can get a bit serious and
Can
heavy.
get really
Yeah.
serious. You need someone to kind of bring a little something different. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just something to bring back the lightheartedness and.
We need
the
a
jokes.
comedian in our squad. You know.
Yes.
I agree.
Get Zach Galifianakis. I don't know how interesting he'd be as a character. Probably not that interesting.
But in terms of race, like I think it'd be cool. Well, so we've never seen like a female Drell, so that could be cool to show
Yeah.
up. What's another like race that could happen or race gender combo we've never had as a companion? Other than female Krogan, because Morden's gonna show up and do that, and it'll be awesome.
Yes. No arguments. If you argue, you must leave. You won't exist.
I don't know. We've never had a Batarian as a companion.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We've never had a Vorcha either, but I don't think a Vorcha is very conducive to squad mating.
Yeah, I think a Batarian would be, but man.
A Batarian,
That's some
like a really
snake oil
badass
charmers.
Batarian.
Yeah! Like a
Like a
Batarian
no-
who's like a mix between like Garrus and Han Solo.
That'd be
Okay,
awesome.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Like a Clint Eastwood.
A very Clint Eastwood.
Gets like down to business kind of Batarian. Like,
Uh-huh.
let's get this shit done, yo.
And
Like
doesn't
someone
care.
walks up to your. Yeah. Someone walks up to your squad brandishing a gun and talking trash, and he just shoots them mid-conversation.
Like, I didn't have time. Yeah.
We've got a shuttle to catch.
See, that'd be
He
awesome.
needs a house.
We never had a male Quarian either.
No.
True.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we had so much Tally that we didn't need any more Quarian. We were good.
No.
We were good to go. But Tally's probably not here, so.
No, she's unfortunately probably buried under her home.
Hey! No.
Well, I mean,
No.
she could be.
No.
You don't want her to be buried, then. If she's dead, what would you like her to be?
Yeah.
Alive.
Well, I'd
she's
like her
dead,
to
I'd
be
like her
alive,
to be
too.
alive.
But Quarians don't live quite that long. I mean, it's possible they could still be alive. We don't know how far ahead. Put that into the box.
That goes into the box.
This box is
Goes
being
into,
full.
like, the
We now need to
very,
upgrade
like,
it.
Back little like space that you don't know is there in the box. Just shove that right in there.
Just shove it in there and hit it with
That
sticks
is-
until it fits in the corner.
That was a little bit darker than you normally go.
But so male Quarian, female Drow, Batarian,
Hanar, I always wanted more Hanar in my life.
Blasto.
We need a Blasto.
Oh my god.
Hey, and if it's far ahead in the
Are there-
timeline, the
are there
Hanar
f-
could be.
Yeah, that's true. Are there female Protheans? I mean,
Um,
there has to be female
there have to
Protheans
be.
technically. Yes.
No.
They didn't talk about
You
them.
just
They didn't
slice
show
a
any.
foot off and it regrows.
Is that actually how it works?
I don't
Are they like
know.
asexual? I don't know.
They're like,
Do they
they're like
asexually reproduce?
earthworms.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we only ever saw Javik's like flashbacks in the military, and his
Well,
military group appeared to be all men. I don't know. Maybe the females look exactly the same. We just don't know.
one thing
maybe-
I thought of during that was, if you remember the statues on what planet was it? Mass Effect 1 that was a Prothean ruins. But
Eden
it had
Prime?
those statues. I'm sorry? What was it?
Eden Prime.
No, not Eden Prime.
No.
It was one of the end of the games, towards the end of the game. It was the one with Vigil on it. But it had those on the surface. It was all grassy and ruiny and overgrowth, and had elevators. But there were statues around, and when we actually did get to see the Protheans, I was like, Javik looks nothing like those statues look like. It looks like
Well,
an almost
maybe they
completely different
were-
race.
Well, another thing you have to remember about what Javik said about the Protheans is that they conquered the entire galaxy, and if you lived in the galaxy, you were a Prothean. So maybe Javik was a Wanaha, and not all Protheans were Mahahars. Maybe they were
Yeah.
Reduperders.
Or
There were also
Marklar, or Marklar. And this Marklar. It's the same thing. You're Marklar and you're Marklar, trying to make us believe in your Marklar.
We're all Protheans. Whether Maher,
God,
blah, blah, blah.
what even?
So, okay. Is there anyone else? I mean,
There's
I would
a lot
like
of
an
stuff.
Elcor, but I don't think that would work.
Well, yeah, I'd like to
I would
see
like
some
to
race.
Wait, hold on. I need to create an envisionment.
Envision.
Envisionment. We are charging into battle, riding an Elcor, our hair
Oh.
flowing.
Oh
in the
god,
wind,
oh god.
a mane, and Barak in our fist. I don't know.
The Elcor has a mane too.
It's on a battlefield littered with, I guess, litter and
It's an unkempt battlefield, very filthy.
And there's steam in the background, and dramatic Mass Effect goosebumpy music in the playing, and we're charging. Okay, you get it.
Yes, that would be amazing as an Elcor mount.
Elcor. Hey, they have mounts in Inquisition. They can do quadrupeds.
Yes, they can do giant dragons too. I want
Ooh,
space
yeah.
dragons. I want to fight a dragon in my spaceship. and
Dragon.
shoot
Didn't
lasers
we
at
see
it.
a space dragon pretty much?
Yeah,
in the
wouldn't
trailer?
that be like that fly thingy that's
I
on
think that's a space
Protonka?
dragon.
That's
Yeah.
a space dragon.
That's a space
yeah, that's a
dragon.
space.
That
There
or
you go,
Thresher
we
Malls
have
have
space
learned how to
dragons.
fly, and we are all fucked. One of the two. Can you imagine that? Like you're driving around in your
so
Mako,
fucked.
and you're like, doo-doo-doo, beautiful day, gonna go find some shit. Oh my fucking god, there's a treasure mall coming at me from the sky.
In a different galaxy. Yes.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Thresher Malls are in every galaxy.
You know what? That's another thing. Speaking about gameplay elements, Mass Effect 1 exploration, Thresher Maws, the Mass Effect Andromeda exploration is supposed to be the new focus, and I mean, if we're going around all these quiet planets, Thresher Maws.
So, Alistair McNally, the head of design and art at BioWare Edmonton and Montreal, recently tweeted that this Mass Effect would be the biggest one yet. So, probably that refers to the exploration bit. So, it could be interesting if we have something Thresher Mall-ish. It's Andromeda, so it's probably not a Thresher Mall. Although that would be cool. I wouldn't protest it. I'd be okay with it. I wouldn't question it. I'll be alright. But Thresher Mall 2.0. And but we could have like things like that pop out of the ground. That could be a cool sort of thing to happen, you know.
Yeah, subterranean surprises. You just got Thresher mod.
What even?
My poor little Mako.
But why?
But in terms of exploration, I think they said it was going to be like semi-optional, at least more optional than Inquisition, where you're just bloop, you're there and you have to go like everywhere.
Yeah, you have to explore an Inquisition, even just to find main quest points.
I mean, Frostbite is kind of set up to have these large environments, so that's cool. But at the same time, like, I would like a little more linear kind of story, something that doesn't take 100 hours per playthrough.
Yeah, that seems to be what BioWare might be going the opposite direction. It seems. I'm okay with either way.
I loved it. I just, if I got to pick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
With story, you almost want more. Like, if the people that want to get the story done want more of a linear thing than the people that want to just do it as they go. Like me, I like to do a lot of side stuff and try and get as much gear and level as I can.
Yeah, like have it as kind of like an optional thing you can do on the side. Like, didn't Mass Effect 1 kind of do that? Like, you didn't have to do it, but you could do it.
Yeah, 90% of the planets were just there. You didn't have to even go to them during the main quest or even half the side quests. And then even as you played the game more, a lot of planets would open up and let you land on them. So you'd have to continue to go to places you've been already just to see if you could land there. I know there's a couple planets, there's a quest where it was the Arachnite chain quest, and you could have just totally skipped that. Even if you did all the other side stuff and thought you were done, they're like, no, here's 5 more places to go for those who are vigilant and go back and check just to make sure.
That's cool. Like, I kind of like that setup to where, like, if you want to, you can have this awesome extra experience of exploring, but if you just want to do the story, you don't have to do both.
And, BioWare does provide some rewards for doing the exploration. I think for those that like to do the full-on exploration, like go to every nook and cranny, I'd hope in Andromeda to see maybe some rewards tailored to that playstyle. For those that do take the time to do that, maybe some unique stuff other than just, here's a blue or, a unique item, maybe an asset or something unique, like a unique vehicle or something. I know I'd like to see more vehicles than just a Mako.
Like Mako add-on pieces that you find.
That would be amazing, yeah.
Kind of like the Skyhold stuff, where the more you did, the better your shit was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to see a synthetic life forms in Andromeda, something similar to the Geth.
I'm sure. There has to be, like, something synthetic-ish.
Yeah.
This is Mass Effect! Come on!
Yeah. My hope is something digital-based, like what they hinted at and teased at during the news agency things in Mass Effect 3 about that, what we mentioned in the previous podcast, about the life, the ancient race. It was
like in a codex or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was one of the Spectre news things where you go to your little Spectre room in the Citadel.
Yeah, it was one of those. Something with reading.
Exactly, yes. A race was, a race of aliens that wasn't meant before long ago had some issue with their home planet, so they took their consciousness and uploaded it onto a hard drive on a spaceship that has just been floating around the Milky Way forever, for an unknown amount of time. And a Solarian actually was able to go to that. When they found him, he moved his consciousness over and allowed one of them to move their consciousness to his body, and he was walking around the Citadel and everything else. So I just thought, why didn't they do more with this gameplay element or this type of stuff in Mass Effect 3?
Like that race was not represented other than, like...
One thing to keep in mind is that Mass Effect and BioWare and what have you, they are really good at just kind of laying a seed and then leaving it alone and then using it in the future. So maybe that's going to be tied to Mass Effect Andromeda. It's totally their style,
Yeah, like they tell us a little bit, and then a little bit more.
You go back, you're like, oh, that's...
And then like a little bit more, and then like everything.
So maybe this ship that we heard about there, it has something to do with the future story.
Maybe.
You never
very
know.
Interesting.
Yeah. I ship it? I don't know. Does that work?
Hopefully we'll have a mission where we could go to a place like that, because I know I was expecting actually to have a side quest to where Shepard put his consciousness into that world and had to do something to save them. Maybe the Reapers are trying to take it over, and then,
Well, you did that with the Geth.
Yeah, you did do that with the Geth.
Yes.
I remember that mission.
That was a cool mission. That had no combat. I was like, da-di-da-di-da-di-do-do-do-do-do. I don't get shot at. Wee!
It reminded me of the Animus missions from Assassin's Creed, if you've ever done those.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of burnt out on that franchise. Anyway. Same thing again, twice in a year. I know, I'm good.
Mail time.
It's email time.
So our last previous podcast, we asked you guys to email us at n7radioofficial@gmail.com, and we got some emails.
Okay, so like we were saying in our previous podcast, we wanted to share some of the kind and wonderful words that we get from our listeners with you guys, and kind of discuss some of the feedback that we get, and answer questions, and all of those fun kind of things. So that's what we're going to do right now. So a lot of the content we've got right now are from the previous two podcasts. Hopefully going forward it'll be just like the direct one before it, but you know, whatever, it'll all work out. So what I have got is an email that was sent to us by one of our listeners, Paris. And Paris writes, "Hello, I just finished watching your podcast, and I must say it is very good and entertaining. I would like to say that you did a great job in covering all of the details in the trailer and all other information. I was really looking for such a podcast, but there wasn't any. So you can be sure that you will have at least one certified viewer for each podcast."
Yes!
Yay!
Nice.
Now, I think that it is a good idea that you discuss a little bit, if you want, about how the endings are going to be imported, or how you hope they will, and how the developers might put all of these different endings in the game, or in one game, rather. Sorry for any mistakes that I make in my writing of this email, because English is not my main language, because I am Greek, which is super cool. Thank you. I hope that I will be able to buy the game and a PC to play it, and see your videos along the way till it comes out of me. It's getting very rough here in Greece, and you're very lucky that you have the possibility to do what you like the most, like playing video games. Anyway, enough of that. I hope you read this and maybe try some of the ideas that I wrote about in the endings for your podcast. I'll write to you every week to help your podcast. Again,
Oh my god, I got hit in the feels! Oh
I
my
know,
god.
like, I
Yeah.
read this and I was all teary-eyed, and I was like, oh my
I was
gosh,
like,
BioFan!
oh my god! Oh my
That's
god!
really cool.
Oh my, thank you!
I know.
Assuming direct hugs.
I know,
Assuming
assuming direct
direct
hugs. That was perfect. Yes,
So
I,
what Paris mentioned about like how we think the endings will tie in, what do you guys think?
I don't know.
Well, you know, Dragon Age Keep. Just put that out there. I think they'll probably do something like that, since it would work really well for Dragon Age.
Oh, I can confirm
Yeah.
that they are doing that. I can confirm that. So,
You
yes.
can?
Oh, you
Yeah,
can.
whenever.
What?
Uh-huh. Yeah, because I interviewed Fernando Mello back when they still had the Keep in beta. He came on the dialogue wheel and I interviewed him, and he said that yes, they are designing this now, and this is kind of like the rough draft kind of thing, and they were using Dragon Age as a way to test this out, so they could move it forward to Mass Effect. So yes, we're gonna have.
Ooh.
So something's gotta be
Nice.
relevant. Otherwise, why would they have even been considering using it in the future?
Yeah, I think like everyone always figured they would do it. It just seemed logical, but
Mhm.
you know. So I mean, obviously the choice would be in there, but I'm not sure how heavily they'd be represented, because we don't know. Like, this is after Mass Effect, but like, did we leave to go to Andromeda before the Reaper thing happened, or how's that? Like, are we all glowing green if you pick the green option, or was Shepard indoctrinated? Which that is in the box. Me, you're not bringing that out. Nope.
Yeah, box in the box. In the
In
Box,
the
box, box.
in the box. But so I don't know how I think it'd be represented. I think maybe like I don't know, because the endings are all kind of a real sore spot for a lot of the fandom.
Uh-huh.
So I kind of think they would, if they did it, they would do it very subtly and very lightly and very sensitively.
Yeah.
Maybe like just like a brief mention, or like, for example, say you're walking around whatever the Andromeda version of the Citadel is, and you know you're seeing all these pretty things, talking to a Krogan, maybe the Krogan's name's Morden, I don't know. But then you see some like, I don't know, some Asari chilling at the bar, being like, so yeah, it's weird how y'all stopped growing green like a year ago, like something like that, you know, something
Yeah.
subtle.
Something really subtle.
BioWare is known for those little subtle things to the previous games too. Yeah, I mean it is definitely a big broken glass mirror to try and piece back together how they're going to do this ending
Yeah.
thing. My theory is
I have faith in them. I trust
Oh,
them. They're gonna do it.
definitely.
They're gonna do it great.
BioWare weaves stories better than some books I've read. Their stuff is amazing. I have a theory. I don't know if this is true or if it's going to work. It's But in Andromeda, we'll probably just get those hints that you mentioned, the little tiny hints, but the endings won't really matter much to Andromeda. But the game after is when I think we'll go back to the Milky Way, having built up our forces in Andromeda, maybe to help rebuild the Milky Way.
Or
maybe.
like you'll have multiple galaxies at one point. Like
Yeah,
you'll have a galaxy map that's of galaxies, not
exactly
on a single one.
Exactly like we mentioned in the science broadcast. Science.
God,
But yeah, it's my
BioFan,
little
we're
theory.
like on the same wavelengths tonight.
Chachi, what was your possible ending thingamajig?
I don't know. I kind of think, because it's one of the things that they've mentioned, not the ending specifically, but that choices we made would flow over. So kind of going back to how I had assumed earlier, I kind of think that, okay, going back to my theory about the Pathfinders escaping something and seeing this great crazy thing, and then they decide to go follow after it and see if they can help it. I kind of think it would be neat if they were escaping that. Like, they were escaping Earth, perhaps, or they were escaping another planet because of the Reaper invasion. Because I don't remember, them ever saying that nobody escaped the Milky Way. I don't remember that being a thing. So maybe these endings, they affect the world that they can't go back to, perhaps. They've gone out, and they're like, okay, I hope the whole Reaper thing's done now, let's go back home. And they're like, oh, fuck, everything's wrong. And then
Everything is green. What happened?
What is going on here? Or, I don't know. I hope there is some kind of tie to it, though. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I actually do hope that the endings somehow connect to it, because then all that pain I went through wasn't for naught.
They don't want to alienate everyone who loved the choices they made in the first 3 games. That would just...
Yeah.
I mean, Mass Effect and BioWare games in general are centric around choices and keeping the choices you've made.
Yeah.
It just would make sense.
So, on to our next email. Comes from a listener named Yanni, who did some, oh my god, amazing art to go with our podcasts.
Yes.
Oh my god, I love these so much. You can find the link to her Tumblr and everything down in the description. Oh my god, I love these so much. So the one that goes with our first episode, I think Chachi was like, someone make art of this. Oh my god.
Yes.
It's a Reaper in a little hoodie, who's just the emotion in the little one single red eye, and it's assuming direct hug.
Yes, it's so perfect.
It's so perfect. I'm like, they did it. No way. And if you look, it looks like 2 little pink eyes, but then you look and oh, the red thing's actually the eye, and it's got this oh my, it's crying, and it's oh my god.
Sad.
The longer that you look at it, the better it gets.
They're so misunderstood. They just want love.
They just want love.
We'll have to make sure to feature these during...
Oh, definitely. They'll be on.
Yeah.
They'll be on the screen. They're there. Yeah.
Yes.
And then the one that goes for episode 2. Oh my god, I love this. And this one's really funny. It has all these different scenes. It's got I guess it's me. I think it seems like it'd be me. And it's theory loading 10011100100100100100110001. And then it's got I think Kay is on like the left, and she's like, "Senpai!" And then I think it's Chachi because of the Kaden thing in the back, and she's like, "Kaden desu!" And then Raizer's over in the corner, and he's like, "He's got it!" And then like this magical empowerment and like stars and an aurora and everything in the background, and I'm like, science! And then like Kay's like, what? And then Chachi's in the back like, oh my god! And then like Raizer's like, oh my god! And it's what is sugwami? I don't know what.
It's sugoi. It's an excited phrase like yay in Japanese. Sugoi! Like that.
Sugoi!
That's all of my otaku knowledge right there.
But oh my god, I love these so much. They are great.
That's amazing.
You can find links to Yanni's pages of things and stuffs down in the description of this video.
Make sure you go.
Go check it out.
Yes.
Now!
I mean, just wait a couple of minutes for the podcast.
I had a comment on actually the first episode of the podcast by Ramen Oh, I'm sorry, Rujik. I'm sorry there.
Good
But he
reading.
says, well, yeah, Ramon Rujik says, what do you think of the Quarians still having their suits at the time of Mass Effect Andromeda? Because Talia did say after peace with the Geth on the ship, she talks about the fact that they don't need to wear their suits anymore, and within a few years they won't need them. Would you like to see the Quarians with or without their suits in Mass Effect Andromeda? And, well, I don't think I need to answer that. Yeah, I would definitely love to see them without their suits, but that's a great point you brought up, because I didn't think about that cutscene before. She does mention that on Rannoch, in a few years, the Quarians will be able to evolve again, and their immune system will be built up to the point to where they won't need their suits.
But Andromeda just screams bacteria to me.
Yeah, we're gonna be in a whole nother place. So if
Yeah, it's gonna
Quarians
have
there,
like some funky microorganisms up in there laying some science down on you.
Yeah.
Some biology.
That being the case, it would be like that for all the races. That makes you wonder, you know.
I don't think they're gonna go that far. I'd just say like the Quarians are kind of susceptible to diseases of any variety, so they'd probably be on like super sanitization lockdown. So they'd probably wear their suits. I don't think they would, like, for example, over on Rannoch in a few years, they'd probably, like, get rid of the emergency induction port and, like, maybe get rid of, like, the, like, facey part and just kind of have, like, a wrap thing that goes over the head. Because Tali also says, like, the suits are such a part of their culture now that it'd be hard for them to just totally abandon that. So
Yeah.
they'll probably, like, wear the suit, but not wear, like, the sanitization prevention-y sort of bits.
If Quarians are in the next game, I'm sure BioWare will let us see them without their suits, because at this point, it's
Everybody
beyond...
was so... Like, there was so much uproar after not actually seeing Chachi's... Or, not seeing
Chachi.
Chachi's face.
Chachi, you're a Quarian!
I am a Quarian.
Chachi is a Quarian.
Chachi Voss N7 Radio.
Chachi radio. So not seeing Tally's actual face on Tally and not in a picture. I think maybe we could see one. I don't know. That'd be cool. I'd
Well,
like that.
even if they put their suits on when they're out on quests, the environment on the ship or whatever should be contained to Milky Way germs at least. So you think that they could at least take off the suit on the ship, whatever it is.
I like
on the
how our
B2.
podcast is going so in depth. We're talking about the bacteria and the differences between the galaxies.
Oh, Okay,
Dumpsters
please
and
come back to
bacteria.
us. Please come back. We need you.
Okay, where have you gone?
You are our beacon of peace.
Now things have gotten
Dirty.
dirty.
Stop it.
We're like in sync tonight. Oh my god.
We are.
Focus ability initiated. Oh, but yeah, I just like that comment because it made me think, you know, of more of the conversations people have had in Mass Effect 3 and what elements of those conversations could we see in Mass Effect Andromeda, because there's a few closing situations brought up between the Geth and the Quarians and the Krogan, and BioWare does a good job of taking little things said during the little, what might seem like the most meaningless conversation, and later on in the game or next game, it's something of importance.
I'm trying to think of something from like earlier Mass Effect games that kind of did that.
Maybe I mean, the only thing I can think of is Rachni. That wasn't really tied up. I know they helped with the Crucible, but other than
Well,
that...
there's so one example of like a reference to something that happens is, so in Mass Effect 1, if you save the Rachni Queen, then in Mass Effect 2, an Asari who went to the new Rachni planet will come to you with a message from the Rachni Queen thanking you and saying that they've got a new planet and they're doing okay and everything. But then in Mass Effect 3, you find out they're not doing so okay anymore. Like, you go to that planet and everything. So that's kind of something, like, they'll give you, like, a sneak peek to something that happens. I think, Raizer, didn't you, before we started the podcast, didn't you come up with something that was interesting that kind of might be a reference?
Oh yeah, on my Twitter, here, let me bring it up right now. On my Twitter page, someone commented back during our second podcast, Zaffer Zoffman on my Twitter page
That's
after
a lot
the
of
second
Zoffs.
podcast. That's so many Z's and
Zaffer
mans
Lots of
and
Zoffman.
Zoffs. So Zoff.
He's very Zoffy Zoffman, so Zoffy Zoff. Okay.
Anyway, what did the Zoffmeister say?
Well, Zoffmeister McZoffman, he tweeted to me in a tweet with a picture of a book of Mass Effect Deception, which is one of the great novels you should pick up just for the lore aspects alone. But anyway, one paragraph of this says, the first item in the catalog is a Prothean egg. Obviously, it's some character investigating some type of catalog. But it says, the first item in the catalog is a Prothean egg, which, when activated, opens to reveal a holographic map. And because the map is not consistent with any part of known space, experts assume that this map lies somewhere beyond or hang on, part of it's cut off on the picture. It says, experts assume that the system depicted lies somewhere beyond our galaxy. Might have just been important to the Protheans. Oh, that's another line. And might have just been important to the Protheans. So that's interesting. Will we see any type of Prothean relics in Andromeda, or maybe will the Protheans be living in Andromeda untouched from the Reapers?
Yeah, because
driving...
Javik didn't witness the entire end of the whole thing, so maybe they were like, well, yeah, this is not where, like, they maybe were like, let's jump ship and go over to Andromeda, and they were pretty advanced as a civilization, so maybe they could have engineered some way to hop over.
Maybe that's how we get to Andromeda too. We find their old ancient hoppy machine and just pop on by, and maybe...
Though the one thing to think about is, what must their mating rituals be like if their eggs hold holograms?
Oh god! Yikes!
That's interesting. Maybe they just, it's like, okay, Cupid for Protheans. Upload your DNA onto a website and find your partner.
Lay an egg with your profile.
An imprinted egg will be mailed directly to your door.
Ew. Oh, ew. Kay, we need you back.
Now we're talking about some weird unknown.
Talking about...
But yeah, I just thought that was really interesting, and thanks for bringing it up, Zoffy Zoff. And maybe if any other fans want to scour the novels and find other stuff, like Mr. Zoffy McZoffman Zoffer Zoff, you can find some more hints. Follow McZoffy Zoff's lead to McZoff your McZoffy Zoff Smarklar McZoff.
What?
N7 Radio, where our translators have broken.
Unfortunately, we are now at the end of our podcast, but we will definitely have more for you in the future. Or if this is your first time listening to us, we have other podcasts you can listen to. You know, just by the way. You can find us on Podbean. You can send us an email at n7radioofficial@gmail.com. Or find us on Tumblr. We're also on iTunes. You can tweet us on Twitter. You can like us on Facebook. And we are also on our respective YouTube channels. We're going to have a special guest on the next episode of N7 Radio. You may know her, as she's pretty popular on YouTube. We're going to have GamerMD83 on N7 Radio.
Yes, I'm excited. I've actually followed her for a while now, and to actually have her on a podcast I'm part of is kind of starstruck stuff.
She is just a bundle of adorable awesomeness and love. Oh, I love her so much. Ugh.
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 All right, Cassandra. And don't forget,
wow.
there are a couple of things you can do for us to help us to be more successful and also to show your N7 Radio love. For example, go to each of our individual channels and subscribe. That supports us and we support you. And also go through and hit that little thumbs up like button because that's always good too. Make sure that you're rating us on iTunes, commenting on our videos, sharing it on your walls, telling it to your friends, inviting us to your grandmother's house, just whatever you can do because we will be there. Yay!
If you could pick any sort of squad mate to be in Mass Effect Andromeda, what kind of squad mate would you pick? Tell us down in the comments.
Your comment might be featured in our next video. And speaking of our videos, if you haven't already and you're new to our podcast, make sure you check the links provided below to our previous episodes so you can get caught up. And make sure you tune in next week where we can hopefully be on schedule. The only reason we haven't been on schedule is because of the PAX flu. It's a pretty tough flu to get over. It kind of takes your bones and turns them into hot pockets for a short amount of time. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But anyway, I hope you all have enjoyed this podcast, and make sure to keep sending us awesome email, amazing fan art, and just keep interacting with us, because it's you, the members of Mass Effect Nation, that keep us motivated and excited to keep bringing you this news and these podcasts. And as always, thanks for watching. Keela Salai, Mass Effect Nation.
We should maybe say like how, like, if you could design your dream Mako.
Pimp your Mako.
Pimp your Mako. Put like some racing stripes on it, maybe some like Hot Wheels fire things, and like some like dice and alpine scenty thing over the rearview mirror. You know, pimp your rad, maybe some leopard print seat covers, cup holders.
Hello Kitty. Sure.
Hijack skin rugs.
Oh.
Commander Shepard posters. This is starting to look like a hippie van. What's
It
happening?
is secretly a VW fan.
I will be totally happy if I can just have it in gold to match my armor, which should also be gold, because BioFan really likes gold.
Hey, the Normandy by the end of, I think it was Mass Effect 3 was gold, right? It had that plating, that diamond armor that gave it that gold sheen.
Yeah.
It did?
Yeah, if you fully upgraded your Normandy. I'm pretty sure it was 3. No, it was 3, yeah, it was 3. That was the final Normandy upgrade, actually, I believe. And there was some really special armor, too. I believe it costs, like, a lot of resources, too, to get this. You do lots of scanny times.
My favorite one was going to Uranus and hearing Edie give her comment.
Oh, yeah. What'd she say? Like, that's not funny, Shepard.
No, her first one was like, probing Uranus. And then the next one was like, really, Shepard?
I love Edie.